So the first week of January 2025 is officially in the books. And if you're like so many people in the rest of the world, you started off the new year with some goals, and a week into it, you are already off the wagon. This is not meant to shame you. This is just to remind you that that is a super relatable experience. And also, it is nothing to be discouraged about. You have no reason to believe that all of your goals and dreams and aspirations for 2025 won't come true. There is still plenty of time for you to make 2025 the best year ever. And if you're going to do that, if you're actually going to reach your goals this year, and it doesn't matter if you've never reached any of your goals in any other year, this year can be different, but you've got to learn to overcome one particular challenge. And that challenge is what I'm calling failure intolerance. If you can learn to move past failure intolerance, if you can build up that muscle to overcome that, you are absolutely on track to reach your goals faster than ever. And so I want to spend the rest of this episode talking about failure intolerance. Ready? Let's go. Good day, good people. Welcome back to episode 86 of the Life Edit Project podcast. As always, I am Coach Elizabeth, your favorite podcast host and life coach, and I am back on the mic this week. You may have noticed that last week I pushed out an episode, but I was not able to actually record because I had laryngitis. My voice is actually still sounding a little husky, shall we say, because I'm not fully recovered yet, but I have enough voice to do this, and so I wanted to show up for you. Actually, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, please go back and listen. My daughter, Naomi, was such an angel. She recorded an intro and an outro for me, and I put together a mashup of some of my top episodes from 2024, and she was adorable. She was an amazing guest host, and I'll probably bring her back at some point because she's awesome. But anyhow, so my voice is not 100%, and it is what it is, but I'm here. And part of the reason I'm here is because it is still one of my goals, and has always been my goal with this podcast, to push out an episode every single week and to bring those episodes to you on Wednesday. And here we are, just the second Wednesday of the year, and I was almost not about to make it. Let me tell you, between this laryngitis and some other emergencies that have been happening in my life has been lifing, and this podcast episode almost did not happen, but your girl found a way to make it through. And the key is exactly what I want to teach you about on today's episode. I have built up my muscle for failure intolerance, and that has absolutely been the key to me being able to show up here, and it will be the key to you being able to reach your goals this year. So one of the reasons that so many people struggle with their goals, and excuse my voice, y'all, I am on the struggle bus, but y'all gonna get this. One of the reasons that people abandon their goals and they quit before they ever really have a chance to be successful is because they get discouraged when success does not come instantly. And y'all know I'm a recovering perfectionist, and so many of my listeners, you're also perfectionists or recovering perfectionists. And we perfectionists tend to want not just to achieve our goals, but we want our journey on the way to our goals to also be perfect. We want the process of getting there to go perfectly as well. And when things fall apart and when things don't go according to plan, so many of us get discouraged and we think that the goal is no longer available to us. And I am just here to remind you today that the point is to keep going until you reach your goal. The point is not always to execute perfectly on whatever plan it is that you have to get to your goal, right? Goals themselves are about the ends. The process of getting there, yes, it matters, but the end also matters. And abandoning your end goal for the sake of the process of getting there trips a lot of us up. And if you want to have a better chance of success, you need to cultivate your failure intolerance. And by that, I literally mean you have to be more okay with failure coming up. Because guess what? And I know you know this, but you didn't believe me, but I'm going to hold your hand and look you in your eyes. I say this. Failure happens on the way to success. Boom. That's it. I can end the podcast right there, but I got just a little bit more for you. Failure always happens on the way to success. And if you don't want to quit every time failure comes up, you need to have a higher tolerance for that failure. And so here's what that looks like real quick. Just a couple of things. Write this down if you're taking notes. When you develop your tolerance for failure, you are going to end up having less intense breakdowns along the way, right? So when failure happens, it does not have to be fatal. It does not have to completely break you or break your spirit or break your stride. Sure, it might be discouraging. It might be a little dip. It might be a setback or even a detour or a delay, but it does not have to be ultimate deterrent. It does not have to be the not just a stop sign, but a red light, right? It does not have to be a complete blockade to your path. And so developing a higher tolerance for fear will allow you to experience failure in a way where you will get back up because you know that that's just the part of the process, and therefore you don't have the complete breakdown. So that's one thing that a failure tolerance will do for you. The second thing that a higher failure tolerance will do for you is that it will allow you to recover from those setbacks faster. And my friend, being able to recover faster is the name of the game, right? Because if you're going to keep going and if failure along the way is inevitable, the only question is how long will the failure stop you in the moment, temporarily. And so learning to recover faster is the point. A third thing that cultivating a higher tolerance for failure will do for you is it will help you to love yourself along the way. Even when you're not perfect, even when you execute your plan imperfectly, even when life falls apart, even when you miss your mark, you don't have to automatically go into a spiral of shame and blame and feeling guilty. You can simply allow for the imperfection, allow for the failure, not over-identify with it, and still believe that you, the person that you are and the potential that you have, is capable of reaching that ultimate goal. And so this is a quick episode because this is what I have time for. But I want you to think about where you are on your 2025 goals already, anywhere that you may have fallen off the wagon already, or anything that you suspect might be hard, right? Because even if you're still in perfect execution a week and a day into 2025, trust me, failure is going to happen. It's inevitable for all of us, right? But what will you do when the failure happens? How will you respond? My friend, I want you to allow yourself to tolerate that failure, to sit in the discomfort of not having what you want, of not being where you want to be, and still being determined to move forward. Because ultimately, I want you to have what you want out of this life. And that is why, as a life coach, I am determined to help all of my clients get better at setting goals, working towards them, and ultimately achieving them. And in fact, I have an entire framework that helps my clients set not just better goals, but the right kinds of goals based on what it is they want to do or achieve in their life. I would love to work with you and teach you that framework so that you can set better goals and cultivate your tolerance for failure along the way. If you're interested in learning all of that, and if you want 2025 to finally be the year where you reach your goals instead of sabotaging yourself and abandoning your goals at the first sign of failure, then you need to get on my calendar. Use the link that's in the bio to book a sales call with me to sign up for my one-on-one coaching program. And let's do this like Brutus, and let's make 2025 your year. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back in your ears next week with another episode. It will probably still be juicy and it will probably still be talking about goals because I have lots to say about goals. Until then, learn to sit in the discomfort of failure. You will be all the better for it. All right. Peace.